Hey, it's Jenna with another post-counseling update. So we are doing EMDR. We've gone through a lot of our most traumatic memories, and when we finished the last set, she was like, well, what do you want to work on? And I was like, well, honestly, OCD is really one of the, it's kind of more disruptive than the D.I.D, at least sometimes, at least the way it manifests in my life. And I was like, I don't know if EMDR would help that, but could we try? And she was like, yeah, we can give that a try. So, we went through identifying key memories associated with, like messages. OCD messages were like emotions that I get. And surprisingly to me, one came up from when I was like the carry of emotion. Like, well, the only other time I felt this emotion was when I was like 4, and I got into the medicine cabinet, to make a long story short, and took a bunch of like extra strength Tylenol, and I got sick and spent some time in the hospital. And so we start today on that memory, and I realized something I never realized before. So the start of that memory is one of my few childhood first-person memories. Like my earliest memory, I'm like 2, according to my mom, when this would have happened, and I'm looking into the house that we then bought and I grew up in. And then my next earliest memory is this memory of taking these pills. And those are both first-person memories. This is 4 years old. My next memory, I have a series of snapshot memories: first person, third person, first person, third person. And it's so significant, and I never realized this is when my memory starts to fragment into third person. And at the very least, it shows dissociation. This isn't, maybe when I had my first ultra formation, but at the very least, this is showing dissociation and the start of depersonalization. This isn't happening to me. And I never realized that this is when that started. It's always just been, it's not even been a thing that I recall with trauma. Like, oh yeah, when I was little, I swallowed a bunch of pills and spent a week in a hospital. Like, of course that'd be traumatic, but I've never recalled it that way. And to realize this is when my brain started using that coping mechanism. And it's huge to me, guys. Like, huge. I don't even know how to convey how weighty this seems. And then the tie-in with OCD is children have something called magical thinking, which they think everything is their doing. Like, we talk about it. You gotta excuse me between allergies and crying during EMDR, but like, usually we talk about it in the negative. Like, if a kid's parents get divorced, they think it's their fault because magical thinking, the child is responsible for everything in their world. But here, I was responsible for what happened, and I knew it. Like, deeply in my soul, I knew it. And I knew, it was a very crisp memory, and it's always been. I knew when I was taking the pills that it was bad, but I was like, oh, I kind of have a headache. Like, so like, I didn't understand the consequences, but I knew I shouldn't have done that. I knew that this was a thing that grown-ups would say no, and I did it anyway. and then bad things happened. And this started my perfectionism journey, because if I had done the right thing, bad things wouldn't happen. And there wasn't any magical thinking about it. I caused that. Now, as a child, like, I'm not going to reason and go, oh, well, you know, I can understand the consequences of my actions. I did something, bad things happen. And from this point on, like, the striving to do the right thing, and then it being reinforced through my childhood that if you don't do the right thing, bad things happen. Like, oh my gosh, it's this huge, like, this is the foundation of this thinking in my life. And this, so takeaway, EMDR has been really helpful for me. So I'm going to spend the rest of the week thinking about this. Yeah. Oh, that's it. I'll catch you guys later.